All right, what's going on, y'all? It's Jesse from the John Yacht. Today we're going to talk about how to clean and maintain your Penn Battle. Today I have a 4000 series, but these reels range all different sizes, so the components are going to be the same no matter the size. Just if you have a larger reel, it's going to take a little bit longer to climb or clean. So why do you want to do this? Why do you want to clean your reel? So particularly, I'd say the majority of people who use these Penn Battles will operate and fish within a saltwater environment. So saltwater environment is obviously corrosive to metals, no matter what type it is over time. So especially if it's not cleaned off. So if your reel is starting to maybe feel a little old like this one is, a good time to do this maintenance is when you start to feel that, or if you're maybe take it to the beach one day, you get some sand in there or a rock in there and you can kind of hear it or feel it grinding. Also, just kind of as a preventative, if you do this, I admittedly kind of abused this one for a while, so it needs some cleaning. I haven't done it probably 10 or 12 trips probably, so it's getting a little bit raspy on the reel. So doing this will extend majorly the life of your reel. So how do I do it? So I use a few tools. I'm going to show you how to do it, but I'll talk about the tools I use first. So first off, I have a rag. Anytime you have excess oil on your rag, it's going to act as kind of a grease trap, think of it, or a fly trap. It's going to collect rocks, sand, whatever else your reel encounters is going to trap that in excess of oil. So we're going to wipe that off. Secondly, a scribe. This scribe, as we open this reel up, you might see little bits of pieces of sand or rock. Use this to dig it out if needed. Secondly, a little flathead screwdriver. If I need to break something off or get it free, it's handy to have one of those free. Also, just a regular pair of pliers. Any will work, needle nose, whatever kind. Thirdly, a little rubber band or a piece of a rubber band. I'll show you why in just a second. And some reel oil. I choose Dig-In reel oil. It's a reel oil I've used for quite some time, and it's seemed to have extended the life of my reels pretty significantly. So Dig-In reel oil. I'll provide a link in the description for that, but this is what is my go-to for that. So after you use it, you'll understand why. You'll use your reel now, and at the end of this video you'll use your reel again and it'll feel completely different. You'll understand why we use this reel oil. So we'll start off, in general we're going to move and lubricate all the moving parts on this reel. So first off, we're going to release this drag system and remove the spool. Alright, very simply, take your cap off of your spool. Underneath there is generally always going to be a pile of grease, usually some rocks or sand or salt, whatever. Wipe all that off. Alright, get all that oil off of there, all that grime, all that nastiness. Alright, all that gets pushed up through the top of this reel by this shaft, so we're going to get all this clean. Now inside your spool you have a spring and a first lubricating point. So inside there you see a little spring and that pivot that it's on. We're going to want to hit that spring and that little pivot with some oil. Alright, and again, maneuver that a few times so that you can feel it move. Once that lube gets in there, it'll definitely be good for a while. So actuate it with your finger. Set this to the side. You're done with this portion. Now to this shaft, you can see here this one's pretty grimy. It's got quite a bit of oil on there. I'm going to rotate my reel handle until the shaft's all the way at the top. Alright, then I'm going to take my rag and I'm going to get all that old grease, debris, gunk, whatever it might be, from out of this base. If you got a lot of stuff in here, I've heard of people doing this. I've never actually tried it, but I've heard of people actually sticking this part in the dishwasher once you got it clean and running it through a cycle. I've never actually done it. I don't think it would really hurt anything. I've never personally done it. We've always wanted to, but never have. All right, so we got it clean now, right? Now what's moving? What's our lubricating parts? So take your dig-in reel oil and you're going to hit those threads at the top. All right, let gravity do its thing. And since you have the shaft all the way up, we're going to oil the base with just maybe 2 drops, the base of that shaft as it enters the body of the reel. So we're going to then move it up and down a few times, and right there you should almost instantly feel your reel become smoother. All right, so I'll go ahead and stop that. We'll let that sit for a while, but we are going to wipe that excess oil off. So then we're going to move on here to the bail. All right, if your bail is super rough, you have a couple break edges right here on each side, you're welcome to take those off and clean underneath those if you haven't done maintenance in a few years on this reel. But for this video, we're going to do some basic maintenance steps. So here at the top, at each point at the top where they connect, we're going to use those as lubricating points. So I'm going to hit that each side with a spot of grease. That gravity is going to work the oil down, and I'm going to work it in too by maneuvering and actuating that bail a few times. Then I'm going to flip it over on the bottom, just opposite where you did it on the top. I'm going to do it again. All right, let that oil go in to that crevice, gravity do its thing, and then work it around. By letting gravity kind of do its thing there, your oil will get from top to the bottom. All right, actuate that a few times, and then we're going to wipe this reel at the end of all excess of oil. So whether you're a lefty or a righty, you're going to have a cap. So remove your cap, set that over to the side, and then remove your handle. All right, and on your body of your reel, where you just removed your cap and your handle, there are some bearings in there that need some attention. So if you got some gunk in there, take your rag. You can also take your scribe or your flat-headed screwdriver if you wanted to, if you had some excess of gunk, and kind of use your screwdriver as a point, and you can dig down in there to get stuff out if you need to. I don't need to do that on here, but I wanted to provide that point. So back to the dig-in reel oil. Hit each of these sides here, not where the screw goes in, not where that bolt goes in there, on the sides of that, where you can get where it actually is going to drain down into the body of the reel. All right, not on the inside, on the outside of that. And then flip it over, we're going to do the same thing. All right, that will let the gravity do that, and while that's working, you can see here, this one, you can actually see a little bit of dust falling there. That's salt. All right, that's corrosion. I told y'all I've been abusing this one, but this has been a super sturdy reel, so it needs some love, and that's why we're doing this today. So what's moving here? We got this, and we got those threads. So we're going to hit those threads. I'm going to wipe that off because I put a little bit too much on there. And then here where this is going to maneuver and bend, I'm going to hit that with some grease. All right. And then that's going to work in there instantly. You know, that's like a free moving part again, where that was just seized just a few seconds ago. All right. And this thing right here, your lever will actually spin around this shaft, so you can hit this that way and let that drain down here between this piece and that shaft. And that will be able to work free too. All right, you're gonna have some, I'm gonna have some excessive oil to clean on this one at the end, but that's fine. And then one last piece I like to do, which is often skipped on this handle, is your actual reel handle. You can take your grease, and between there you'll see a little crease. I'll just hit that right in between. Let the oil go into the crevice, and then spin that around that grease. That oil will work in there. And then I'm gonna wipe this thing free, so I don't use this thing to collect any other extra dirt. All right, you can see there, y'all saw that salt in there. This thing is like butter now. Last step, I'm gonna move back up to the bail. Now that our bail's fresh and clean, there's one last piece that I think is often skipped, and this is very important. So here on your bail is a little ball bearing system here that's spinning, but this is important because this is where your line goes through. If your line is on your spool, if your line is on your spool here and it's spinning around, say a fish is ripping off drag and this piece right here is not spinning, what you're actually doing is weakening your line. This is supposed to spin with your line as it goes in and goes out, depending on whatever you're doing, whether a fish is taking it or you're reeling it in, per se. So what we'll do is this. Grab your rubber band, and we're going to hit this on both sides with a quick drop of oil. And the reason I say a rubber band, you want this thing to have some traction, and a rubber band is perfect for that. So I'm going to grab it like so, and like you're flossing teeth, work that thing in there. And you can feel it spinning. Your rubber band's grabbing that metal piece and it's spinning free. Alright? That thing is really spinning now. It was a little gritty when I first put that band on there, and then it was knocked free. So what I'm going to do now that my hand and my reel is pretty covered in oil, I'm going to put it back together real quick. Alright, spool on. Drag cap. Alright, I'm going to give this baby a few turns. It feels incredibly different right off the bat. It's only going to get better if I work this for a few more minutes, which I will after this video. But for now, the last step, wipe that excess of oil out. Alright, make sure you're not going to be collecting that oil or using that oil to collect dirt, dust, sand, whatever. Then that's it. Quick 10 minutes and your Penn Battle is cleaned and ready to go. Again, the reel oil that I'm using here is called Dig In Reel Oil. You just saw it actually work its magic right here in the video with this T-handle. But try it out for yourself. I'm going to put a link in the video. And if y'all have any recommendations, leave them in the comments. And other than that, appreciate y'all.